Yo, what's up, everybody? Brian's back. Hitman. Oh God, I'm so used to saying "Hey, everybody." Like I literally have like my thing, my shtick in YouTube is like, "Hey, everybody, Hitmanbk here." Like that's just kind of like how I've come now. Like when we do the podcast, I'm always like, "Hey, it's there, Bri hit. It's a Bri hit." Nothing. You got nothing. You're just staring at me.
It's because it's just so. I mean, look.
It's
I'm looking
Brian
at.
and it's Freddie and he's looking at me and we're back and we're back. We got stuff. We're going to talk about some stuff. I got some stuff I want to talk to Freddie about games that are coming out and that kind of like are hitting this like popularity, these like $30 popularity games. Freddie's got some stuff on some chips he was telling me about that I don't even, who knows what's going to come out of that brain of his. And he's got some news on NCAA if you're a football fan, what that looks like. And we're just gonna, and it's also Thursday night, and I just got done watching a rom-com, and I think he's got some whiskey in his hand right there. Wait, what kind of cup is that? Is that a leather?
It's a leather cup that keeps my hand not cold, and it has my initials on it.
Oh,
it's I'm hard to shop for, and that was a nice gift. So.
All right, I see you. On that note, sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself. Let's throw this intro. Whoop. I did that late. Oh, well, we're back. All right. Let's kick it off with what you wanted to tell me about these chips. Tell me about these chips. What are we talking about? Like Dorito chips, like potato chips? My daughters love Cheetos. That's what you get when it's $8.50. Okay.
Yeah. That just means you're old. Okay.
I know.
So there was a news last night or yesterday.
Oh, I know what you're about to tell me. Yeah, you're talking about Xbox.
Yep, Microsoft, not Xbox specifically, but
yeah.
So they have agreed to a humongous contract with Intel to create custom chips. Now we don't know what these chips are for necessarily.
Yeah, but you're assuming like new box, like you were saying.
Not just box. I think that they're going to be. It's a custom chip, probably for their new Surface laptops, for their probably for the new Xbox console, and then I'm thinking for sure a possible entry into the handheld market.
Oh, well. I mean, maybe I was talking to you about that. I mean, I don't know. Like, why do that? Why not just team up with Steam? Steam Deck sold so well,
Yeah, but the problem with Steam Deck is they make money off of you buying games on Steam, right?
That's true. Well, it's also AMD, so I mean that would be a direct competitor then at that point, right? If you made an Intel chip.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think a couple reasons why, right? So one, they have to compete on multiple levels. Microsoft does, right? They have to compete on the PC side, right? And so Intel is obviously losing the battle to the Apple M3 and above. Those chips are incredibly efficient, right? And so the battery, just in battery life numbers, the difference is astronomical. Performance is really high, heat's low, like they do really good. So
you're talking Apple, like he's talking about M3 chips, which are currently in laptops, just laptops, right?
Yeah, laptops, and I think they make similar type chips for the phones.
Yeah, so Freddie's referring to what Apple's doing on laptops, which is doing really well, especially in the realm of video production and on-the-go powerful laptops that are not burning a lot of battery and not running hot, which is, I mean, that's what you want when you make a powerful laptop. So
yeah, and then the other side of it is they need to have some sort of leap to provide a customer with something that's not identical to what Sony did, right? So,
well, yeah, it may be good for Game Pass. You'd be easy Game Pass sell, right? Game Pass on Go.
Well, for the handheld for sure, but I'm talking about generally for the console too, right? If they go, because Intel is recently the last couple years they came out with the Arc video cards,
right?
And they have that the AI accelerator similar to DLSS. It's called
Oh, I
like
see. You're thinking like they could team up. Intel could use it as like a foray into a foray. What does a gay horse eat? Hey. I mean that lovingly. Oh, I got all sweaty with that joke. I hope that wasn't a bad joke. That was a bad joke. But it's
fine
funny.
joke.
It's a fine joke. I broke out in like immediate sweat. I was like, I don't want to be canceled. Anyways, point being is, I'm assuming what you're saying here is doing that could be like their foot in the door for gaming, like make a console, like show off what a card could do for Intel, like combining with Microsoft.
Well, not just for Intel, right? It's so it gives them a way to get into both the console, you're gonna get a ton of chips made, right? I think the contract's for like between 15 and $20 billion, right? And the other side of it is, yes, the ARC cards are not incredibly popular because the performance they're not the peak, but they're for the price point, they're really competitive. And so that card in a console is A, it's very efficient, and B, you can build it on all one chip, similar to what they do with the AMD. That's why AMD has been using, all the consoles, literally everything gaming is AMD. It's very cost effective. They're able to build it all into a single chipset. So I think
that would save them too on production. I mean, I'm sure there's bad blood from the sheer amount of like, we can't make you anything right now.
And you have to remember too, like Apple was a big customer for Intel for a long time, and now they're not. So that's money out the door. So I think we'll see how that plays out. I think a custom chip is going to be very interesting. And then we talked about the AI, adding an AI type of accelerator into the chipset. That'd be I was reading, Sony is also, in the language of what's coming out for the PS5, or no, maybe the PS6,
the Pro or whatever.
The next console. They're saying they're gonna have like AI and all that stuff.
Well, they will. I mean, because FSR 3, right? Is AI is well, it's not. It's AMD's DLSS, but it's software, not hardware.
Yeah, but we're talking about different, right? We're not just talking about frame generation. We're talking about specifically AI built into a console, which means like
I got you. Yeah.
So you can have parameters within a game saying, hey, there's 400 million responses that you can create. AI create these responses. These are the boundaries, and you can have infinite conversations with NPCs, right?
Which this is a call to Surfer, by the way. I mean, because Surfer, I know you're watching this. And I know you said like obviously there's AI in games. Yeah, we know that, but there's not AI to the extent at which we're talking about.
Yeah, we're talking about like being able to put parameters in for AI to create in real time.
Essentially,
in real time, right?
In real time,
having conversations with whatever and having it be new and fresh.
Which would be wild.
It would be wild, and it would make games, that would be worth $100 game, right?
That would be right.
That's
a good segue too. That you were saying NCAA is coming out. It's gonna be $70 game.
$70 game. It's been a while, right? I don't think it's been. I mean, I don't since
I assume it's EA because they own all.
Yes,
football.
It is EA. All of football is through them. It looks like 134 schools have signed up. And
things are so much different now. I mean, NIL changed everything. So now those, if Ewers is in there, Quinn, Evan, it's Quinn. I don't know. The QB for the UT. If he's in there, he's getting paid. So I mean, like now that the whole thing that why NCAA went under in the first place was like likeness was an issue, and then there were just all these legal problems. But that's out the window now with NIL contracts.
Yeah. So basically, it says the EA. It's going to be called EA College Football 25.
Okay.
It's going to use the Frostbite engine, which is what the EA uses for everything.
Because Madden, I feel like has so many problems because of the Frostbite engine, but.
There's no evolution in gameplay. That's really what it is.
Yeah.
Every bowl game, 12-team college playoff system similar to what they have now, NIL and transfer protocol. So you can, if you're not
Okay.
happy, you can
Yeah.
transfer all
Okay, cool.
schools.
And
$70.
69, so 69.99.
Yep.
Yeah, that's
Weird.
that's the going price for like new games now. Like they've moved from the $59 range to the $69 range.
Yeah. See, the one thing that's weird about the game is obviously all the players are going to be there, right? But the coaches are not. No coaches sign
Oh,
on.
that is weird.
Yeah. So
I mean, whatever. I make my own coach every time I play. I haven't even played a football game in forever though. I saw you were playing the new Madden because it's on Game Pass.
Yeah, I've been playing it. I mean, I played it. I played on PC. It's all right. It's just like it's a time waster. Look, okay, cool. I'm gonna do a draft, and it's
Speaking of Game Pass, that stealth drop was a pretty nice one. I mean, if you're a zombie fan, in case you don't know, and you have Game Pass Ultimate was the only like asterisk. They just randomly dropped Dead Island 2 on there, which is not a stinker of a game. It did well.
Well, I actually downloaded it and started playing it.
It's supposed to be fun. Like it's like Cali's supposed to be well rendered. It's supposed to be a gorgeous game and kind of goofy and super violent.
It's super violent.
Yeah.
And like I was just messing because I when you buy the game, when you download the game, Xbox lets you play early.
Right. Right.
So I jumped in and I just wanted to see what it was because I haven't played a Dead Island game in.
Since the first one, which is like.
Yeah,
I don't even know. Long time ago.
College. But like, yeah, I killed a zombie, and every time you hit the zombie, if you hit it in the area, like I broke its shin and bones pop out, and yeah. So it's
the
cool.
selling point for the game was that tech. They had built this like tech in the game that like literally every time you kill a zombie, like it's like essentially like real whatever. Target degradation and bone and like brains and just pure gross.
Yeah, the other part of it is I think the reason they did this is because fanboys are unhappy with the fact that the 4 games that I mentioned on their last podcast accurately were released.
Are coming. Yeah, which none of those were consoles. None of those games are console sellers. And Sea of Thieves, like we talked about, is oh man, that's nothing but great news for Sea of Thieves. I mean, like that.
100%. Yeah,
it's nothing but great news.
I mean, it's gonna, if you love those games, that means more people are gonna play it with you. I mean, Grounded and Sea of Thieves need a data. I mean, here's the bottom line, right? Xbox has too many studios for how little their actual install base is. That's really it.
Yeah.
Right. And then we talked yesterday. I remember, or not yesterday, last week we talked about how the numbers weren't. I think they're at 35 million, right?
Yes.
But you have to remember, prior to like 2 years ago, when they showed off those numbers also included the Xbox One Game Pass subscribers. At this point, a lot of those folks have transitioned, right? Nobody's still using those. So, I mean, that's also PlayStation. PlayStation, the numbers wasn't.
I think the numbers are fine. I don't think Paul Tassie's comment on the stagnant growth of Game Pass holds any merit, mainly just because Game Pass didn't have a reason to grow. Like there weren't games on there to make people go and buy Game Pass. When you only have, if you've already played all the old good games and your exclusives were only one a year or just something that somebody wanted to play, you're probably not somebody who's going to be like, yeah, I'll go pay for Game Pass for it. They'll be like, not just buy the game. Because I mean, like I've played all these other games on there, like Game Pass. That's why I said I want to see that number January next year when you can get Game Pass and get freaking Indiana Jones, Avowed, Dead Island 2 now. I mean, like when we're thinking the end of the year, Diablo, there's going to be so many games on Game Pass at that point, especially if you're a new console owner. I mean, it's the same thing I told a buddy of ours who got a PlayStation. He immediately got a PlayStation 5. He'd never played in any of the PlayStation ecosystem since 3. And I was like, get PlayStation Plus Essential. I mean, it's just worth it because like you're getting all these games, this backlog of games. PlayStation's not near as, the point of this is PlayStation isn't near as good as Game Pass. So if you're thinking of people who are coming into the Xbox ecosystem, near November, the latter half of this year, there's going to be like more than 4 games on there that I mean, if you downloaded and played all 4, you just purchased Game Pass for 2 years. Like, so it almost, I mean, I will be surprised if the numbers don't go up, because that really would be a no-brainer. It's like, why would you buy those games? I don't even, that's a waste of money. Which, speaking of purchasing games, because I was curious, we talked a little bit about this. Helldivers, were you just playing it?
My brother has been playing it nonstop.
Oh, okay. A buddy of mine who plays with us thinks you're on playing it. It did really good. We talked about this because it was the price point plus the fun. They seem to have fixed the servers too. They also fixed the thing where you can't stay on now. You get kicked.
That was one of the big issues, is people were staying on.
People were staying on. Yeah. But so that did good. That popped off. Pal World popped off. And on top of that, Tuesday, for ARPGs, this game was in early access of sorts for a really long time. It's PC only. It's called Last Epoch. And that game just came out, actual release 1.0, $29 price point. Destroyed the servers because like they had 150,000 people in the first 20 minutes.
I mean, it makes sense. I'm telling you, that price point is very attractive, and all it needs is like a handful of 5-star reviews and a little bit of. It has to be a type of a genre that fits, right?
Right.
This game is very Diablo-esque, right?
And it's got the microtransaction store that you're gonna be like, you know what? I only paid $30. Yeah, I love this game. That's a cool thing. You're gonna go and purchase it. Like, I would be surprised if the industry doesn't change somehow out of all of this, especially if you're a developer, like we talked about, like with Suicide Squad or Destiny. And I don't see how a consumer can look at Destiny and go, yeah, I'll spend $60 again for the year. No, like I'll spend 30 because like you're going to drip me the rest of the year, all this stuff. And then if it's good, I'll continue to purchase, and you'll actually make more money off me. That's how cell phone games make all that. I mean, like we were talking about Candy Crush and all these cell phone games, like bring in billions of dollars because you engage your active player base, and in return they end up purchasing crap from you.
I mean, it's an easy decision, right? If the game looks interesting, for example, on PlayStation, you were telling me if you buy a game, you think it's going to be good and it's not good.
Oh yeah, no refunds.
There's no refunds, and it's $70 or 80, or $69.99. You spend $40. It's a drop in. I mean, it's still money. But it's a drop in a bucket. And if the game is good, all that means is I'm going to tell you, hey, I bought this like $40 game and it's incredible.
Right.
And then boom, you don't even have to advertise, because they really haven't advertised this game at all.
No, not really.
It's just really they showed a showcase.
Yep. And word of mouth, took off big time. TikTok.
Right. I mean, it's a good game. It was priced incredibly well. That's really it. I want to pivot real quick. I've been scrolling Twitter, and it's just so funny, dude.
It's X,
PlayStation.
Bro. Okay, it's X.
Or
X.
What? X. Whatever. Anyway,
it's X rated.
X-rated. No, there's PlayStation fanboys that are buying.
Oh my god, dude.
Pediment.
Yes.
And then they're like, oh, I'm like, you're just giving
not
money
only that,
to
but even for the Helldivers too, there's PlayStation fanboys like saying, yeah, this game should be on Xbox. Have you seen that? I'm like, really, guy, like. And now there's like a funny thing on Twitter, I'm gonna call it Twitter too, on Twitter that's like for democracy, Helldivers is gonna like save console wars, and I'm just like, this is all just ridiculous.
Well, okay, so there is some validity to it. I think Xbox wants the game, and I think Sony doesn't. So here's the thing, and this is nobody really like talks about this. Sony doesn't have what game does Sony host that has a lot of players? Can you think of any?
No, none.
None.
The only game none of them are live service, really, right? Like, so, or none of them are this ongoing,
right,
thing.
Well, none of them have like a player base like this game, right? And and so Sony has no idea. Sony didn't help them at all with the server build out.
Right.
Microsoft did, because they're using the Microsoft Azure cloud.
Yeah, they're yeah.
and so there is a rumbling that, I mean, you can read it. I mean, look, at the end of the day, the industry is for sure moving into a direction where being exclusive, especially games like that, is not financially feasible long term, right?
Oh
That
no,
is
right, yeah.
I mean, that's literally why Sea of Thieves is on there, because you eventually hit a cap, right? And
Right.
it's not new anymore. So player numbers drop, but they're adding content all the time. So then, well, what do? How do you make something new again? Well, you introduce new audience to it.
Right.
And that new audience is going to, holy shit, there's nothing like this on PlayStation. There's nothing. Especially, I mean, that's a open world, right? You
Right.
can have anybody and everybody.
Well, that's why Sony's gonna, because of Helldiver's success. Like, there's no realm I see, like we talked about before, where all of exclusives moving forward don't at least end up on PC, especially with how much money Sony's hemorrhaging on their AAA titles.
Well, they lost. We talked about this. They lost $10 billion in evaluations in their stock.
And look at how big Helldivers is on PC. As a matter of fact, Helldivers is so big on PC, it's a 50-50 split. But people on PC are like kicking people on PlayStation essentially out, because like for a while there, the server cap was 450,000. And on Steam charts, the PC player count was 402,000. So it was like, oh, well, there's only like 20,000 people able to play, or, 30 something thousand people able to play on PlayStation. Like PC's a much bigger audience than people give it credit for.
Well, yeah. I mean, and it's also they're game buyers. That's the difference too. Like, people on PC will buy games because they like those games, and to build a PC that is able to play those games, it costs money. And if it costs money, it costs significantly more than a console, right? Like, your video card is going to cost more than the actual console. So I don't see,
in terms of trying stuff too, it's just better, man. God, you get a game on Steam, you get 2 hours. You don't like it? Refund, no questions asked.
Yeah. Or if it's like the game is, broken, right? Or whatever, they'll give you a refund.
They'll give you a refund.
And I think Microsoft does similar things like that, but I do know that PlayStation, like you said, which I was surprised.
I was
very
too
surprised.
No, if you buy a game on PlayStation, the moment that game is fully downloaded on your console, regardless of if you even opened it, if it is downloaded on your device, you cannot get a refund. It's crazy.
That's very anti-consumer.
Yeah, it's anti-consumer friendly, because then it does change your mind when you're looking at a $70 game. You're like, nah, and like I'll just no, like, because like I can't get a refund on this. I'll wait at least for word of mouth too, and then if word of mouth sucks, then you're dead in the water.
So that recently Sony had this the person that took over Ryan's position, Jim Ryan's position, I forgot his name, the chairman, basically said similar things what Phil Spencer said, which was that they want to obviously increase their margins, and a lot of people took this specific line and ran with it, where they wanted to say they want the game on PlayStation, PC, and other. What are they? Other.
I can see if I can find it.
What was the word? The very specific word. Other. But basically saying that they want to obviously expand their reach, because their margins are very razor thin, and the production. I mean, Sony's.
You're talking about Hiroki Totoki. I'm awful at pronunciation, but that's what Sony president and PlayStation chairman Hiroki Totoki revealed. The company is looking to proactively work on multi-platform support for their games. PlayStation has an extensive list of exclusive titles. We know about all these, which have made their way to PC, and the company has revealed that they are looking to bring more of their games to other platforms as part of an aggressive profits growth plan.
other platforms, right? Because they mentioned
Right.
PC, but then they said other platforms, which opens the door to, well, does that mean Xbox? Does that mean Nintendo? I
Here's
mean,
what he
you know,
here's what he said. He said there's a synergy to it. So if you have a strong first party content, not only with our console, but also other platforms like computers, a first party can be grown with multi-platform, and that can help operate. I mean, this is all obvious stuff, but and that can help operating profit to improve. So that is another one we want to proactively work on. I personally think there are opportunities out there for improvement of margins, so I would like to go aggressive in improving our margin performance. Look, I mean, end of the day, the point is, like you said, it's $10 billion. Sony makes really good exclusives. They make them only for their console. They spend an astronomical amount of money making these games, which is even beyond industry standard. And, you know, I mean, they make good games, but yeah, that's not a sustainable business. So,
man, it's so funny. I'm just scrolling through gaming, and every single, Sony influencer has purchased, or at least they have wish list all the games, and they're going through every single line just to like point out stuff. Like, for example, former Xbox exclusive coming to PlayStation are labeled as published Microsoft Corporation or Bethesda, with no
yeah,
mention of Xbox Game Studios. Like, why do you care? Like, what is your point?
I don't even
Like,
know. I mean, I'm sure Microsoft's like, great, run with it, buy it. Thank you for your money. Have a nice day.
I mean, it's still available on. I mean, it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. But
I know.
I digress. It's just a funny
I
thing to
said that.
look
I
at.
said this. That we had. I think it was on our very before we changed podcasts because we were doing one. We did one for a very small stint. Or I think it was. I think I did one actually. It was like solo. I did like 4 episodes of something, and this was like,
Gaming and
yeah, gaming and it was this was like 4 years ago. I mean, this was a long time ago, and I had said I was like I saw what Sony was doing, and I was just like we were about to enter like the worst exclusive toxicity like ever, and that's what happened because like that's just what the Sony bred. But I mean, the funny thing is to a deficit to themselves. So I mean,
well, the language of the new chairman. I mean, it sounds like they understand what they need to do,
yeah,
and they're
I'm
trying
sure
to.
their games are going to come out on PC. Which means I can toss this PlayStation 5 because like if it's PlayStation 5 or PC, I'm gonna buy PC 100%.
Well, here's the other side though. Like the other side of it is other platforms, right? And other platforms can mean many things, right? It could be cloud, it could be like cell phones, it could
Yeah.
be what. But other platforms generally mean other consoles.
Oh
Like
yeah,
it's
I have no doubt. But I don't think you'll see God of War go to Xbox.
right. I think it's gonna, like I said, it's gonna be games that are made for lots of people.
Right.
Like Helldivers.
Right.
Helldivers 3 at this point is going to be very highly anticipated, right? I mean, obviously it's just came out, but like when it does come out, I'm guessing it's going to be multiplat. Marathon is
I
going
bet
to be.
Helldivers 2 goes multiplat
You
at
think
some
so?
point. At some point, it's not. I don't even know if it's a full exclusive, right? I mean, like you said, they're just a publisher. They don't own Arrowhead
No, they do.
Studios. Oh,
They
do
own
they?
they don't own the studio, but they own the IP.
Oh, they own the IP. Okay. Yeah,
They
then
bought
maybe
the
not. Probably
IP.
not. No, I doubt it
I mean,
goes. Maybe.
maybe. I mean, it's not like they're making a ton of money off of the singular game, and the crazy part about this whole thing is the cost to build this game is nothing. Like it's not even 1/10 of what it costs to build a regular PlayStation
Well,
exclusive.
yeah, I think that's a small studio too. I mean, Arrowhead's like
Yeah,
under
yeah.
Arrowhead.
Airhead's in it's a Swedish company, and it's not a big it's a double A developer. It's not,
Yeah,
it's
it's
not one of
100
the.
people.
Yeah, 100 people, and
That's it.
that's what them expanding, right? So
That's
I don't
pretty. That's
know.
pretty incredible. I mean, that's what I like about like. I mean, just to put that in perspective too, like they did that on PC and PlayStation, whereas like I mean, Last Epoch that I started playing again because like 1.0 is really good. It's a great ARPG, and that's only a studio of 90 people. you know, and they were able to only make a game just for PC. So I mean, that's a very small. That is very small.
Well, yeah, and you compare that to the to making Starfield with 2,000 people.
Right, I know.
So, I mean, we'll see how it plays out. I have a feeling the gaming is going to change. I think that the current structure is just not gonna. It's not feasible. There's no growth. It's
I want to look
you're
at
going
this
to be
too. Like what's just to talk about like small indie studios, like AA studios making like these big games and doing it in a very popular way. Oh, I have a guest. Hey.
My mother has a little bit less.
Okay.
So I need water.
Okay, well give it to mommy to fill it up. I'm telling her I'm doing a podcast real quick, okay?
Oh, she's gonna fall asleep.
Okay.
She said fell asleep.
She fell asleep.
Yeah.
My wife fell asleep. So my daughter needs some water. Freddie, I might have you continue this, but then I'll be right back. But while I get her water, what I was gonna say that another good one, Remnant 2 that did really well. Gunfire Games is only 82 people. So
yeah, I think these small studios, if they make a specific type of game, the way I look at it, right? You look at a game like Helldivers, right? Helldivers doesn't have a campaign, which takes away from the development cost, and they focused on specifically a fun game that focuses on cooperative gameplay and lots of shit exploding, right? Blowing things up, not necessarily very linear. I mean, it's kind of all over the place, right? It's a game that you're able to pick up, play, and then turn it off and go do something else. It's very fun, and I think that's. And I told Brian this, like a game, the cost of the game is not kind of what the defining factor is. The cost is definitely a thing that attributes to it, but the fun factor is what sells the game, and that's what Helldivers is a fun game that is engaging, cooperative. And the fact that you can blow shit up and shit come from
it generates clips like crazy. I mean, it's literally a self-generating. I mean, that's the other thing. Like in terms of stream, like it's fun to play. It hits like the trio of fun to play, fun to watch, and fun to clip. Which in gaming, it's like that's just a huge win.
And the other side of it too is when you're playing with your friends. Like the clip I sent you and Thomas, like basically, we just won. We beat them, and I blew them up, and then me and Brian got away, and our buddy Thomas
he's like, "What just happened?" And I'm like, "He threw a freaking stratagem right on top of us, dude. Did you not see the red light coming out of the sky? Oh no, man!"
And I sent him the clip, and it was like, I can't believe it's these individual clips, not just clips, these individual moments in the game, right? So it's a fun game, and I think that Sony did a great job putting this together, and the fact that Bungie came in and gave them kind of tips, and we talked about this, right? Bungie, obviously great gaming as a service company. They've done really well with Destiny. It's kind of been it's an off and on type of
it's always a rough ride.
Yeah, it's for every Witch Queen.
What is it? One step forward, two steps back.
Yeah, it's like, oh, this is so good. Oh, these are terrible. Oh, this is so good. Terrible. So,
freaking Destiny.
But they Sony bought Bungie specifically for their technology and their guidance,
people.
Right?
And the people.
Yeah, their people went through and they looked at all the gaming as a service games, and this one was one of the few that they approved of after they gave advice on what they need to improve. Right? There's not there. They said specifically that there wasn't enough to keep players engaged, and they had to make some changes. Right? And whatever changes they recommended, it worked out really well because.
It's a big win for Sony. So it is. Way to go, Sony. Start of the year, they're looking hot. They got Helldivers. It's doing really well. Rebirth, which comes out next week. Final Fantasy, which we talked about. It's already been reviewed. It's getting stellar reviews. It's like 10s and 9s. Like everybody loves the Rebirth, the next Final Fantasy game for Final Fantasy 7. So if you fall within stuff,
I don't get it,
man.
I don't
I mean,
get
like
it.
it's critically acclaimed. Like I think it's 90 something, 95 on Metacritic. I mean, like people, it's gangbusters.
It's a remake. It's a
So,
remake. I'm done. I'm over remakes, man. Give me something
well,
original.
it's
It's a remake.
it's a remake, not a remaster. Like it's all new. I mean, because the first game was just one game, and they actually took that game and they're turning it into 3 games. There's still one more game coming. So it's a substantial remake. I mean, there's actually more new than there is remade. So I mean, in the grand scheme of things, yeah, because the first game is just one game, and they have taken one game and they have made it into 3 games, 3 70-hour plus games.
Yeah, so they basically
and it's not fluff. It's like that's what people love about it, is that the story and what they've done and what they've added is really good. Plus the combat's changed. Like the whole game's changed, because combat back in the day for Final Fantasy was turn-based only. And the Final Fantasy VII Remake and Rebirth is not turn-based. It's action. It's action RPG.
I mean, it is what it is. I've just never been. I played Final Fantasy on the PS2, and I don't remember, maybe the PS4 a little bit.
I mean, I dabble. I don't connect with anime games. So that's why they're always hard for me. They're a little too goofy. They're kind of real over the top. And I mean, honest to goodness,
over the top.
I don't even think this is like a mean thing to say, but they're kind of like horny games. I mean, like
oh my God. Yeah. Like here. Well, so this is nothing against Japanese publishers or gaming developers or whatever, but like every game that has a chick in the game,
oh yeah,
she's wearing like black leather, and the angles are always from like the bottom of her ass, like as she's wielding a weapon.
They're the ones who pioneered boob physics. I mean, like,
I'm sure. Do you remember the game Dead or Alive or whatever it's called?
Oh my God, the volleyball one.
It's just a bunch of like, big boob women fighting, and it's just the
how can I forget the volleyball one?
Like, but anyway,
I was in high school when that came out.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, I'm gonna buy this game.
I bought that game. I played the shit out of that game.
With one hand, right?
Oh my God, no. Jesus Christ. But they've done well. They're doing well this year. So they've got those. I think Rise of Ronin is going to do really good. And then there's some other it looks like it's anime style that people were talking about that everybody's like hammering about, that they're excited about. So it looks like they'll have 4 banger games coming out this year for that console. So congratulations, Sony.
Banger. Okay, so the way I will approach this when it comes to games is, are these games going to be console selling games? Final Fantasy 7. So I think that Final Fantasy 7 and Rebirth, that is the same audience. It's not going to be a new audience.
Oh yeah, it's
right?
a Final Fantasy audience. Yeah.
Right. So that's not a console seller. Helldivers, possibly a console seller, right? Because it's a popular game.
Possibly.
Yeah.
Probably not though. I don't see anyone going like, I got to get a PlayStation to play this game.
But I do think that.
I don't think either console though has a console seller.
I mean, I disagree. By the end of the year, there's going to be like 4 console sellers on Xbox.
I don't think people go, I want to play Avowed, so I want to go buy an Xbox.
They might say, I want to play Diablo. I want to play Call of Duty.
You can play Diablo on PlayStation. That's just saying I want to play Diablo for free.
Oh my goodness, how terrible is that?
If you only want to play Diablo and you want like other games, then I'm just saying it's not. When you say console seller, I just think like Fable. When Fable comes out, you're gonna be like, damn, I want to own an Xbox to play Fable.
I mean, so I still think that Diablo, Hellblade, Call of Duty,
I think they're all good, but I don't think they'll be like, oh man, gotta get an Xbox to play that game.
The difference, though, all that is that if you also combine the fact that they're all day and date on Xbox, on Game Pass, and you're talking about people that are buying the console. I know we think.
Yeah, I know, but I agree with you. But you're saying Game Pass and the value is selling the console. I'm just saying game alone, where you walk into a game store and you're like, crap, I gotta get the Xbox so I can play Indiana Jones. I don't think either console this year has a game come. I mean, well, who knows? Because we don't know what's coming out. But has what could like maybe Avowed could do it, but have a game just so good, like Elder Scrolls, you know, where you're like, I gotta have an Xbox so I can play Elder Scrolls.
Yeah, but I'm talking about like year to year, right? Because you're not every year you're gonna get a game like Elder Scrolls, right? That's not.
Yeah.
But I do think that if you look at games like, for example, God of War will sell consoles,
Yes,
right? A new God of War that would be. But I do think
that's why I'm saying I don't think any of them have it, because like none of them are making anything like that. Like even if God of War 3 came out, it's not selling consoles. It's just gonna sell to whoever's already playing God of War. Like God of War Ragnarok, I don't think pushed PlayStation 5 consoles. I think that's why they put it on 4 and 5, because the audience was just whoever the hell was playing God of War before. I think God of War Remake probably sold, like not remake, but you know, like the first one, you know, like that ventured into that whole new area, probably sold consoles. Horizon Zero Dawn might have done it.
The first one, the first one for sure, because that's when I bought mine.
Ghost of Tsushima, like
Ghost of Tsushima, but again, both those games. The problem with that, both those games are on PS4, right? So you have a PS4 Pro, you're still getting a pretty good product. I mean, it's probably not the best product, right? Because it probably plays better on the 5, but
I don't know if any console has made a new IP. I think Helldivers is probably the first one that's like literally brand new. That's like, oh damn, like that.
I mean, if I look at the slate for the year, right, and I'm a parent looking to buy a console, I see Indiana Jones, I see Avowed, I see, Call of Duty, I see.
Well, we don't know if Call of Duty's on Game Pass yet or not, but yeah.
Well, by the end of the year, I mean they're doing Diablo. I don't see how they don't do Call of Duty 3.
Well,
right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's if they do that, Call of Duty 3, and they include it in, like Sony did, they included Horizon, right? Did the Horizon bundle to sell the consoles and stuff. I don't see how Xbox doesn't say, hey, buy an X, get 6 months of Game Pass for free. Like that would sell consoles. And then showing that, hey, this, you also get boom, 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 boom. Now, here's another thing we're going all over the place, but Sony, they released that VR2. What is it called? SPVR?
I don't know. Yeah, something like that.
You know
yeah. I mean, I know what you're talking about. It's PSVR 2 or whatever. I mean, it's really good. As much as I'm whatevering it, like in terms of VR realm, like people love it. But that is such a niche product. It's not even funny.
But they have announced that it is now compatible PC.
Oh, that's good. People like it better than stuff on PC. So supposedly it's more comfortable. But I mean, I don't know. I can't do it. I get sick. So.
Well, you bought the first one. You still have the first one, don't you?
Yeah. I still have the first one. I mean, I thought the idea is cool. I love that it's right there. It's super immersive. It works. There's nothing gimmicky about it. And there are actually really good games made for the PSVR 2. Like we're talking 8. There's an RPG that I think got a 9 out of 10. But again, I can't. I mean, you know me. If I play a video game, I don't sit for an hour. Like I try to play for 2-3 hours. And in VR, oh my god, I get all sweaty. Sorry, like getting dizzy.
It's a short, you're doing 20-30 minutes. Like if you do 3 hours, you can have like sweat, you can have lines all over your face.
Yeah.
You go to work, sweat bubbles everywhere. So I mean, we talked about this VR thing, not even just VR, anything with headsets. Like it's
it's just hard.
If it's heavy, it's not feasible. But anyways,
yeah. So, I don't really have much else at that, so we can move right into. I have no dad advice today outside of she came in here and I had to get her some water because my wife was asleep. Although she clearly wasn't, because I just got a text message saying, "Could you please be quieter?" So filthy lies. You're awake. You got her water. So my dad advice is, kids take teamwork.
You say that like you mean it. My dad advice is
it's hard to have one every week, to be honest.
It's true. I think
do you have a hot take?
How about we go just advice in general? I don't think
I like that.
Dad advice is nice, but advice in general.
Because any advice we give is dad advice, because we are dads.
We are dads. So for people that are, listening, the all 8 of you.
Hey, no, there were 48 on YouTube last week.
Oh,
getting close to 100.
So, I mean, my big takeaway is don't understand. The big thing is just don't underestimate yourself and set your expectations as high as you can possibly fathom. And you may or may not reach those goals, but you'll get close, and then that is going to be closer than you've ever been before. And that's kind of how I approach life. Is I set expectations for myself. I actually do for other people, which is a terrible idea. Don't do that, because people will always never meet those expectations. It's just how it is.
And anything more than 2 shakes, you're playing with yourself.
Also, 2 whiskeys in, I'm going to give way more advice. Anyway, so that's what about your hot take?
A hot take?
It doesn't have to be about gaming. It can be literally about anything.
Oh yeah, I know it can be about anything. That's what I was asking you if you had one. I'm trying to think of what's going on right now that I could have a hot take on, and I don't know that I have one for this week.
Well, let me go, and then you can think on it, okay?
Yes, I shall.
Okay. So my hot take of the week, I have many, but today's hot take is I do think that there will be a new PlayStation handheld similar to the PSP. I think that is... The PSP was actually a great little console. I just think that development wasn't done right.
The games for it were...
But they had some really awesome games, specifically God of War games, which I think are actually going to go into that category of remakes, because some of those were just absolutely awesome, fun games that did not deserve to die. Also, it got hacked and you were able to play like everything else on it. Remember when I had my PSP?
Oh my God, yeah. When you broke it. What jailbroke?
I jailbroke it and I was playing like N64 on it. But that is my hot take. I feel like Sony and Xbox are going to be both making some new technology. I do think that because that Portal that Sony made it has done so well, I think they would be out of their minds not to add $200 and make it.
Make it a real actual device. Yeah, yeah, I can agree with that. I'm going to go with Last Epoch. I've been playing this game in early access. I played a little bit of 1.0 in 6 months. Last Epoch will be bigger than Diablo or PoE. I think Last Epoch is better than both those games.
Really? Why?
And I think when people like really get into it and see, they're gonna find out. And if the support is there, which right now, so there's a lot of reasons. One, the game plays really well.
You're frozen.
Oh wow, that's really look at me. I mean, like for everyone, I mean that's impressive. I mean, let me just.
You're blowing a kiss.
I'm blowing a kiss at the end here. Well, look. The point is, I'm gonna keep like turning it on and off for people watching. Oh, there it goes. I'm back.
You're back.
That was pretty great. What was I even trying to say? So one, the game plays well. Two, it is a nice middle ground between a Diablo 4 and a PoE. Like PoE, maybe nothing will ever really take PoE, especially when PoE 2 comes out, because it's just so complicated.
Explain to people what PoE is, dude. Not everybody knows what PoE is.
If you're an ARPG fan, sure you do. I think it's called Pillars of Eternity. Was it? I don't even know what it's short for.
Pillars of Eternity is also, fun fact, Pillars of Eternity is the prequel to Avowed.
What? No, bro.
Yes, dude.
Oh wait, I'm not thinking of PoE. I'm wrong. Hang on. What game am I thinking of?
Because I was like, Pillars of Eternity is literally the prequel to Avowed.
It is.
They said that.
No, what is the game? I always do this. I thought it was called PoE. Is it PEO or Path of Exile? It is still PoE.
Oh, Path of Exile. Okay, yeah.
So Path of Exile is a free-to-play ARPG. It's like everybody's go-to outside of Diablo, but it's like super, super complicated. Like you literally almost have to do a build guide to get into Path of Exile. Path of Exile 2 is on the way. People are saying it's going to be huge. My hot take is that Last Epoch could overtake that because like they've got the depth in their game. They have all sorts of systems, but they're very easy to explain. They have an incredibly loyal studio who's done a great job communicating with their community. And it's just a good game.
Is it priced at $39.99? Is it that $40 window? Because I do feel like if it's gonna go head to head at the same price point as Diablo, I don't see it.
No, it's not the same price point. It is $34.99.
Yeah, so that I can see, right? If it's I mean, we talked about this. Price point is a factor.
Where Path of Exile's free, so that's always hard. But
I played that. That's a hard game.
But it's just complicated. It's so complicated. It's just a very complicated game. But anyways, that's what I'm thinking. I think Last Epoch, but it is only on PC too, so that's why it's a hot take. It probably won't actually happen. It's a PC only game.
Well, I mean, but you're talking about just PC numbers then, right? You're not going to compare it to console numbers
just PC numbers. Which let's see where it's at actually before we log off here. Let's see. Steam charts.
Is this a new game from like the ground up, or is it a sequel to something?
It is a new game from the ground up. It was started off of what's the big thing people used to use? I think we were going to use it like when you want to do fundraising.
Oh, Kickstarter?
Kickstarter. I think it was a Kickstarter game. And then it was in early access for like a while, and this is now like 1.0. The official launch was Tuesday, and it is currently sitting at 139,000. Oh, excuse me. Oh no, yeah, 139,276 players.
This is the preview?
No, this is the launch 1.0.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So, and the 24-hour, the all-time peak when it launched was almost just shy of 200, 175.
Now, just for kicks and giggles, what was the number for launch for Diablo?
Oh, dude, it's massive. Millions?
2 million. I think it was like 2 million. Which is that's a bold statement, right? You're going to overtake it.
I mean, right now there's only 5,000 people playing Diablo.
It's one of those things, dude. Like, I mean, the people are like, oh my God, after Starfield, nobody's playing it. Like, yeah, it's a single player game. And then the content, once you beat it, you're done. Like, there's not, so it's just
how do I even go back to see what it was on launch?
It tells you like all time. Isn't it all time? That's usually launch.
Oh, then the all-time peak on Steam charts for Diablo was only 28,000. Oh, Blizzard.
Oh, that's right. I'm
not gonna know. So it's only 28,000 people when it came to Steam.
I mean, yeah, I think. Well, this was also the first time ever that they put Call of Duty and
on
Diablo
Steam.
On Steam.
People still use the Blizzard launcher, so that's an impossible no. But either way, if you're an ARPG fan, Last Epoch's well worth checking out. But yeah, dude, that's all I got.
All right. Well, this was a late night, last minute podcast.
It was.
We covered some stuff, but again, like we always tell you, all 8 or 40 plus of you, Surfer, I see you. You comment and you be nice, okay? I know what AI is. How dare you?
How dare you?
Like, comment, do all the things. I appreciate everybody.
And until next time.
Ciao.